Alright guys, I'm in the middle of another project right now and I decided I want to make a scrolling tool, a bending tool. Bending tongs, nah, it's a bending tool is what it's called. And I interrupted the video, I'm making this one and then jump back and you'll see me using it on the rake project. But I was looking around the shop, I'm thinking, I want something that's like 1 by half, and I couldn't find any, and finally I did. I found a nice 12-foot, 14-foot, I don't know, section of this scrapyard find. Thank God for scrapyards. And even better than that, it's pretty cool. This was wrapped around it, so I even know what it is. And how often you go to the scrapyard, you come back with something you know exactly what it is. And it is carbon steel. And I think, where is it now? I swear that says 1018. You tell me what it says. It's right there on the rip, of course. Where is it? Looks like 1018 to me. So, I think that'll be a good, if it is 1018, good steel for this project. Scrolling tongs, scrolling pliers, whatever they're called. Alright, for the record, I've never made any of these before, but we're going to go with about 1 inch to 1.5 inches and just bring that down. I think that looks good enough. We'll find out when we get done. Dress up these edges a little bit. Alright. And we'll see what we end up with. Next thing I'm going to do is bite off about 1 inch or so of this section, bring it up, and then squeeze it out into another point. Arm, finger, whatever you want to call it. Let's see what we got to work with here. Am I happy with that? I think I am. I think I am. So we're going to go ahead now that I lost my heat. And we're going to bite off 1.25 inches. Like that. Boy, that looks like a little bit more than I want, but that's alright, we'll work it out. And then we're going to just draw this back out a little. Give us room to work. I think we can make something happen there. I'm just going to draw this out a little bit more. And again, the idea is we're going to squeeze this piece together and draw it out at a 90 and then run these two pieces around into, hopefully, a turning fork. That's it. Scrolling fork. I knew I'd come up with the name. Back in. Heat. Again, I want to give myself some room to work. Get a old 4-pounder out here. Get some work done. We don't need hell of a handle when we get done. course, I probably could have made one of these with some rebar and a weld in about 10 minutes. Sometimes you gotta challenge yourself. So that's enough for now. I'm gonna try squeezing this piece down there. Alright, I've never tried this before, but I've seen it done in videos, so it's gotta be good, right? So we're gonna lock that thing in there using my good old brass hammer, and I'm just trying to hit right in that groove there, just to kind of bring it together. Squeeze some of that out with the cross peen without it rolling too much. Alright, I'm not going to go too far because I don't know quite what I'm doing. But you can see, where am I down here? You see what we got going on here. So I'll go ahead and flatten that out. Oh yeah, you got the ammo. That's a quick spot. That, kind of work that back down a little bit so we're not rolling over. Can't quite get to it the way I want to, but just kind of working it back. Alright, but I think that did the trick. Where am I? Down here. Alright, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll put it in this way next time. Get this side going. We'll see if we can keep pinching that out. Down this time to get a little bit more on the other side. Seems to be working alright. Better than I thought it would. And we gotta keep that nose from getting too rolled. But it's doing it, I think. I'm a little worried about the center. A little worried about that little duck. If this were the internet, that'd be one of those, what they call those, duck faces. Yeah. So I can't let that roll together. We're gonna have a big problem. Not an issue, I don't think. I think we'll work it out. We'll just kind of work them back together a little bit and then come in and grab a little bit more. I think we'll be okay. Maybe I shouldn't have grabbed so much to begin with, but we'll work it out. There for a while, and again, what we're doing right now is we're trying to get that duck bill worked out. I'm just going to bring them back gently. Not let it roll, if I can help it. I'm going to actually separate it a little bit here because I don't want it to roll. So if it starts to want to roll, we will do what we need to. Come on. Just to keep working it back. So we're kind of fighting ourselves a little bit. That's my stupidity. Fighting off too much. We'll be alright. Alright, you see what I did to fix my little problem? Because again, I actually hammered straight down and out to get that roll out of there. We're in pretty good shape right there, I think. And we'll come back and do the same technique on the vise, but I won't go all the way in. I'll just start taking the outer edge and get that tapered down a little bit. Theory. I started with my small 2-pound cross peen hammer, which is a relatively narrow point on the cross peen. The 3-pounder is a little bit bigger radius, and the 4-pounder is even larger yet. And I'm actually going to try with the 4-pounder, which should, I think, give me more area, so I'm not kinking and rolling. I'm going to try that. If that doesn't work, we're going to go back to the 3-pounder. I think that's going to be what I should have done in the first place, but maybe I needed this just to get the thing started too, you know? So, live and learn. Here, let's go this way with it, is to get that out, that piece that's kind of flat in the front here. I want that out to more of a point. And then we can work it from there. So I'm just going to work out here a little bit. And this bigger hammer is working good for that. And then I can come back in and pull a little bit more. So we're still getting a duck face, but nowhere as near the drama we were getting before. Near the drama we were getting before. So you see we got a little bit of a curl there, but not much. We'll bring that back. And we'll come back and do the other side. I'm sure some of you old timers are laughing at me, but hopefully we can get enough steel out of that piece. This way now. We'll do the same thing here, working for the outside. Alright. It's not looking too snabby right there. Let's see what we got. So that's where we're at, and I can draw that out, but man, I'm telling you, I don't feel like I have enough steel, but I got a lot back here still. Let me come down here. A lot back here still, and I can drop this down and drop that down a little bit more too. I mean, I only need about twice as much as what I got. This theory that I want to extrude this weight here through that picture hole, so I'm just going to round this off a little bit so I can get into that hole. This may be a silly idea, but it is an idea. If I can get into that hole, I can just pound that out and just try to extrude this mass, where am I? That's up here. Try to extrude that down into that hole. Now, I don't know. I've changed my mind on this because in looking at it, if I start that extrusion process, I'm going to square off. Man, it's a little toasty to point at. I'm going to square off up in here. And I'll see this little piece of steel right here. Get you at a good angle, I hope. It's hard to see with the light. That little piece of steel, that's more length. And this little piece of steel is more length. So what I'm really thinking is I need to squeeze some more of it this way before I even try to bring that extrusion out. Otherwise I'm going to lose these radiuses back into the handle. So I'm going to heat it up. I'm going to go back to the vise with the small cross peen. I'm going to try to, actually I'm going to go off the edge of the handle, put a step in here and a step in there, and then go back to the small cross peen and try to pinch just those little corners in. That's going to give me, my guess, at least another 1/4 inch when I get done. So that's the new plan. Let's see about stepping out a little bit more for my center hook. Hopefully that's enough of a step where I can get a bite on it. Do the same thing back here, but maybe we can get a little more. Forward a little bit. That worked. Just don't want to go too thin, you know. I might have gone a little too thin with that one. And we'll come back here. Put some steps in here. Come on now. Don't be messing me up now. Certainly got a heck of a lot more meat to work with now. I might have gone a little too thin back here, but I think now I can go ahead and start squeezing that out a little bit more like I did before. Man, I hope I'm not too thin. Yeah, we might be able to do something with it. And like I said, for you old timers out there, you're probably laughing at me because you would have chose the right amount of steel in the right spot in the first place. Me and a bunch of others of us learning, this is what we're going to do. So hopefully you can say, all right, the technique is there, I'll try to do it right the first time, but if not, I can work that steel, and then hopefully that's going to be the moral of the story. But we're coming back to the vise here in a minute. So I'm going to lift this up a little bit and keep it a little bit soft in the vise. Hopefully it won't move too much. I'm going to come back with the small cross peen just to get a better step started. Because my chance of rolling is going to be much less now. Go back with this one. Squeeze that out, working towards the point a little bit. So I'm moving out towards the point each time, drawing that out. I'd say I liking the way that's looking. A little crooked and ugly, but see how that worked? So I'm good with that. My animal's still there? Hell yeah. Straighten this up. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, you can kind of see they're crooked, but you see the fullering that I did with the cross peen to stretch that out. So we'll come back, we'll take this little notch that's up here, squeeze it down, bring it out, and I think that'll give us enough steel for what we're looking for. As I'm hammering on my good hammers, I'm using this brass hammer to do that, hopefully not buggering up the front too much. Safety. You say it's safety, but the pieces of brass chip off. You better have your safety glasses on. I'm right next to a window too. Alright, we'll go in this direction this time. And I'm going to start off with that small cross peen just to try to get this little bit of a step worked down. I don't want it to roll, so I'm going to work it down and work it out. Work it down, work it out. There goes a piece of brass right there. It's time to recast this hammer, I think. Okay, now back to the small one. We're going to bring that fiddler out. We're going to fuller as we go. And hopefully stretch it out. I'll be liking it. It sure is ugly. Alright? But it won't be when we get done with it. I'm kind of liking the way that works, so let me clean it up. It's time to do a little cleanup on this thing. It's looking pretty darn ugly. It's hard to tell where you are until you clean it up. So I'm going to do that. And I can't really hammer on that. Bring it back a little bit. That works. Bring it back that way a little bit. Back that way a little bit. Alright, so I'm not going to win any awards for this, I can guarantee you. And I hope I'm thick enough here. That's what concerns me, is this narrowness here. I think I frigged up a little too much. Hey, if it breaks, it breaks. I'm going to go ahead and work this section out a little bit more, and then we'll turn this thing into a fork. What I'm trying to do is just square off that top radius a little bit. We'll get in tight with a small cross peen just to get the stuff moved a little, and then we'll do the rest of the work for this one. I think that looks much better. And to make it totally better, we'll just flip the sucker over, because that vise will give it a square edge. Got it in there kind of loose. Hopefully, children, it's not bad at all. Alright? So we got a nice clean edge there. And I think I got enough steel to do that. And we might be a little long on this end. I want about a ½ inch. I don't know, maybe an inch in between this. We might be good. Alright, let me clean it up, and then we'll start dressing this stuff up a little bit. Let's see if we can start turning something into, turning this thing into something that we're not too embarrassed about. So let's get it straightened out here. Get some edges smooth. This little doohickey back here I'm not happy with, but that's the way it's going to be. Unfortunately, just taking out all those fuller marks. That squared off a bit more, but that's all we're going to do. Straighten that up a little bit more. Alrighty, now well, I'm going to talk about this anyway. Alright, so you can do this with the squared edges or rounded edges. I think I'm going to want this a little rounded. So I'm going to start rounding these things over a little bit before I put the bend in. That way they shouldn't leave very many marks in the steel, I think. And we're getting close. We really are. Alright, let's start dressing some of this stuff up a little bit here. I still got to draw a bit more handle out of this, but we're going to dress up maybe to a round, or at least a roundish. I like round. I like it round. Not too unhappy with that. I'm not sure how much of a point to put on this thing. And I do have a bit of rolling over stuff there that I'm dealing with, but structurally I don't think it's gonna stuck in my glove. It's just an aesthetic kind of thing. I'm okay with that. Alright, what we're gonna do now is we'll round this, go ahead and round this part off. And then I'll hit it with a file to clean it up a little bit. We'll do it old school, and then we'll bend that fork. Go ahead and round this off. Rolling it too much. And I'm not certain that I don't have too much. Yeah, see, I'm gonna end up with a failing tool here. You see this little crease? I don't know. I'll show you when it's cooler. That's too bad. But first try, and it's not 1822. I do have a welder. So I think I can make that happen. Oh, I think I can fix it if it breaks. Alright, like a 1 inch, and then we'll do the turn. Square that turn off a little bit. We're going to be about a ½ an inch long there. Let me just go ahead and hit it with a file. Clean up what we can, and then we'll clean it up again after the turn. Clamper in there halfway decent. Which file did I choose? This one? I think a more aggressive file is in order. Let's see how that one works. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, right? Just trying to get anything that's going to leave a mark on hot steel out of there. I'll come back and fine tune it with this one. Turkey season coming up. So that's where my bend's gonna be. So I guessed way too much steel, or maybe not. Yeah, I think I did. I guessed way too much steel here. I didn't think I had enough, so when I was pulling this tip out, I actually pulled a lot from here down, and I didn't really need to do that, but we'll put the bend in, we'll cut it off, and we'll see what it looks like. We'll just kind of clean that off a little. One of my hardy tools, 1-inch square block, because I kind of want a 1-inch turn, and we'll just use that as our bending point, just to bring that around. You notice I'm working both sides, kind of upsetting that corner. It's not extremely critical, but it makes it look a little nicer for the semi-upset corner. Alright, so what are we going to do now? We're going to nip this side off equal, come back a little bit shorter, and then we'll put the taper in, and this thing will be done. So again, I got to taper this, so I'm going to guess where I want it, how much shorter I want it. And I think we'll go for that. Can't really get on very many sides of it. Just deal with it. Alright, now to taper that off, because I worked myself, can you see over here? I worked myself into a problem here. Is this thing an inch? Almost. Alright, fine. We'll just bring it back up. The heck. We'll just bring it back up. Taper this thing off. Doesn't have to be perfect. I like it. I think we'll come over here. Just kind of dress it up with a file a little. I guess you can see something. I want to take a little bit off this stop. Oh, that's the wrong side, you coop. I'll try it for you. Warmer and she'd move a little easier, but we've got enough time into this project as it is. But we learned some. Bet you guys are liking that screeching noise. Screech, screech, screech. Alright, that's all we're going to get out of it. Like I said, I'm not going to win any awards for it. Let me heat it up and we'll get her squared back off. Get her done. Let's get her done. I don't see no problem with that fork at all. A little short on one side, but we'll live. I think we're okay. Again, the concern I have is that fissure right in there, but we'll go ahead and use it and see what happens. It'll be a good learning experience for me. I think the sucker will break, but you know what I would do if I wasn't experimental is I just throw a weld in there right now. But I'm going to draw this handle back. I don't know, another, where am I, up around in back here. I'm going to leave a block of steel on the end so that I can turn around and put another turning fork on the other end, you know, if I want something a different size or something like that. So let me draw this out and I'll be back. Let's just bring this back. Let's say to about there. It's a power hammer when you got Chandler with a 4-pounder. Huh? coming. I can almost guarantee it's coming. I really hate how narrow I got up by the fork. Alright, I think that'll be good enough. I'm going to dress it, go back, actually I can dress it now. It's not exactly the straightest thing in the world. It's a good heat to dress, low red, almost black. Gives you some nice smooth hits. Rid of some of those ugly old hammer marks. Start trying to make it look like you know what you're doing. But here's what it is what it is. Alright, I want to straighten it. I think I'm okay with that. You may not be, but I am. What the hell. I'm going to nip her off up here, but before I do, I'm going to put that step in so that I already have the step where I want it when I go to make the fork on the other side. That's enough heat to make this day done. Like I said, I'm going to drop that handle down. But it's ready for the next side. When that ever happens. Guess I didn't need to dress up that handle actually. This abuse here kind of messed that up. Alrighty, we are going to be one cut away. Done. Get her straight. Tell you what I'll do, since I gotta cool this end anyway. I don't like it, it's kind of coming off at an angle, but you know what? That may not be a horrible thing. It may not be a horrible thing to be offset a little bit. But anyway, my point was, it's 1018, we got a little bit of carbon in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and harden. I'm happy with that. I'm going to go ahead and harden this, and then when I come over here to do the cutting, I got to cool it anyway, so I'll harden it and cool it, quench it in water, and then nip this end off, and then I'll temper that out. I don't know, till a bluish. I don't want her snapping. Want to be down in the oil you go, or oil water. Again, 1018, I have never worked with it. I doubt you're going to get any knife cutting out of it. But it should harden a little. Oh, hell yeah. Sounds as good as any railroad spike. Anyway, let's go ahead and nip this end off. Alright, we'll nip myself off a couple of inches there. Just, and again, I'm leaving this heavier steel on the end. It will make a good handle, but it'll also, stay there. It'll also give me enough steel to make another turning fork if I want to. And what I'm going to do very quickly right now is just go ahead and draw out a strip of this end, put a little loop on it so I have a hook, and we'll call it done. Just a little bit of steel here. I'd love to do this in one heat, because it's not critical. Well, 2 heats. I'd like to get it drawn out in 1 heat. Whoa, total miss. What the hell was I thinking? I was thinking something. We're already on to the next project here, I think. Come on, almost there. Almost there. I think that'll be enough. Been doing too many fabricating projects. My arm's tired. We'll heater roller, we're done. I was about to say it shouldn't take too long, and then I heard this stuff start. I don't know which way I want to go with it. Something tells me I don't want to go this way. But that's the way we're going. Ah, hell, we'll just bring it right down in. Nothing fancy. Not for Chandler. You don't need no fancy stuff. He's a bit of a perfectionist sometimes. Only to the point where something breaks. Then I'm not a perfectionist anymore. Alright, that's good enough. Good enough, good enough, good enough. Alright, now, I did harden that. How many minutes I got left on this tape? 0. I did harden that thing. I'm going to grind this off so I can see. I'm going to temper this, the fork, which doesn't really matter. We're going to be handling hot stuff anyway, and this handle back to blue. Alright, I'm not sure you can see in this light, but I got, I'm down to blue and just a little bit of golden in here. I think I'm alright with that. Not a lot of carbon in here anyway. And again, this end is going to get heated pretty quick. But that fissure there, it bothers me a lot. What I have is I got a piece of 1 by 3/16 that I was practicing scrolling with. So it's a scrolling mess up in the fire. I'll throw it in the vise and we'll see how this works. Drop my hammer, sorry. Let's see how this works, and if we break it right off the bat. If not, we'll go back to the project that we originally started to make this for. End up with here, see how this works. I mean, this stuff's pretty hot here. This stuff's pretty cold back there. Nothing's breaking. This is dang cold back here. Looks good. So again, I'm not turning, but I'm unturning. Let's see, can I get it? See now, I have 1 inch here. Do I have enough to get this bite on? Get your bite on! Yes, I do. I ain't so snabby. Nothing broke. There we go. So, again, if I was trying to curl something here, of course, normally I'd be over a jig. A jig. Let's see if we can do it this way. Oh, hell yeah. We'll straighten that right out. Good enough. I think it'll last. So there you have it. Oh, hang on. There you have it. The reason I made this today is I'm working on a rake project. Go check out the video. It'll probably be up very soon if it's not up. And I got some bending I want to do with that. I figured a bending fork would be, or a scrolling fork would be the best thing to do it. You know, it took me a little over an hour to do this darn thing. But that, you know, I was messing around here. I didn't really have the right dimensions down pat. A little too narrow in the neck, my guess is, if we're doing anything super heavy, but it works. So there you go, my first turning fork, and then I'll throw another one on the other end if I want to. Take care. Check out the rake video if it shows up. You know, sometimes they just don't work. So, but if it's there, check it out and you'll see this tool in use. Have a good day, night, evening, wherever you are. Catch you in the next one.